Hi. Hello and warm greetings to all. First of all, let me thank Dr. V.R.S. Sampath for the kind introduction. As you all know, he doesn't need introduction. He's the founder and president of Madras Development Society. And, I thank him for giving me this opportunity to share the stage with all esteemed dignitaries from all over the world. I would like to extend my warm wishes and greetings to the chair of this session, Dr. Kalanidhi Virasamy, Member of Parliament, and all the dignitaries on stage, as well as my fellow guest speakers and participants in person and virtual. Thiraikadal Odiyam, Thiraviyam Thedi is an age-old Tamil saying by the popular Tamil poet, female poet, Avaya. What does it mean? It means that seek prosperity, even if you have to venture across oceans. So such was the spirit of Tamilians, right? Ancient port cities and coastal towns in Tamil Nadu bear evidence to the fact that Tamils had established global economic impact more than 3,200 years ago. Now let's come to the topic. So the topic given to me is opportunities in healthcare projects. And the time given is 10 to 12 minutes. So I'll stick to that. The speakers who came before me, they gave statistics, talked about medical tourism and setting up healthcare practices in Tamil Nadu, so on and so forth. So I would like to keep it in a different, shift gears and put it in a different frame. I would like to add the phrase, beneath the uncertainty, the current COVID times. Globally, as of yesterday, as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time, there have been 279,114,972 confirmed cases of COVID-19, including 5,397,500 deaths reported. I mean, as we all know, the COVID pandemic has upended the world, taking an unprecedented toll on health, on global economy and healthcare. Healthcare systems, which has been the last line of defense against COVID infection, have been the hardest hit among the economic sectors worldwide. Kalagam pirandalthan nyayam pirakkum, malava? That's a well-known proverb. Within every adversity, there is an equal and greater benefit. With every problem, there is an opportunity. That's what we are going to look at. Currently, COVID-19 is spreading across the globe. We're talking about the new variants, the Omicron variant, and it's not exactly certain when it will all end. So all economic sectors, including healthcare ecosystem, has been affected. Medicine, as you all know, is one of the noblest professions. And as time went by, healthcare became a business in itself. Well, I guess it's become an industry, right? Healthcare industry, so-called the medical industry or the health economy. What is it? It's an aggregation on integration of sectors within the economic system that provides goods and services to treat patients with curative, preventive, rehabilitative, and palliative care. With ongoing ramifications of the pandemic, we have realized that we need to shift focus to opportunities that harness these disruptive forces into tailwinds. The industry has also recognized that we need to take a more proactive and new normal role from its previous reactive stance. We, healthcare organizations, state, federal governments, and global governmental bodies, we are forced to look into innovative solutions to achieve this. I'm not talking about well-established companies, I'm also talking about new startup companies, nimble, fast-growing companies. They are all best positioned to maneuver and create this lasting impact. So what does all this mean? I think digitalization is the key. Digitalization seems to be the golden opportunity right now and the new phase of healthcare industry. The global pandemic, the outbreak of the global pandemic has prompted the work to work remotely in many industries. Look at us, we are working remotely now. With direct person-to-person contact being circumvented, consumers are going into purchasing behaviors, transitioning to online media. So what does this pandemic has done? What has it done? It has helped accelerate the development of digital infrastructure in many industries, including healthcare. In the past, travels were very, very essential. However, now, after the pandemic, with the pandemic, this has been significantly diminished. Companies are employing digital service strategy to retain their customers. So let's look at some of the biggest opportunities that will drive real progress and shake up our healthcare industry. So to say a few, contactless services, IT infrastructures, telemedicine, video conferencing, e-education, telecommunications, big data, AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, etc. I can keep on going and talking about all these applications, but let's focus on a few key things that will help us figure out the opportunities in healthcare. Contactless healthcare services, they have brought new opportunities. Of course, there are challenges on the way. Various terms have been used. Untact means no contact. Ontact, contact through online media. Intact, interactive contact. Digitact, digital contact, like how we do. In this digital age, many doctors, hospitals, and healthcare agencies, we have actually pursued innovations for contactless services. I think it's fair to say that contactless age is already here. So this contactless services spread very rapidly. Why? Because partly these services had already been in place in many industries, including healthcare. And also people think that we may never return to a pre-COVID-19 normal state. And also, not only that, also governments and various organizations, they have purchased and implemented various contactless applications, IT-based. So these contactless services, even though it was present in the past, it has gained a renewed significance. For example, in South Korea, when COVID hit, effectively prevent the spread of COVID-19, the government instituted a quarantine system. It was based on a digital healthcare protocol. So that means it was a contactless program where drive-through tests, the first of its kind in the world, requiring cutting-edge technologies, were implemented. Now let's talk about telemedicine opportunities. Telemedicine, as you all know, it is also a form of contactless practice. So telemedicine has been widely practiced since the 1900s. It was suggested those days that it will reduce medical cost, solve inefficiency problems. Do you think telemedicine is going to stay, or we are going to revert back to traditional face-to-face services? Not sure. But however, even though people might speculate, okay, we are tired of, we had the fatigue of social distancing during this pandemic, and we might go back to, face-to-face traditional services. But it's generally expected that the current growth trajectory of telemedicine will continue in the post-pandemic era, because patients have realized they're satisfied with remote healthcare services. And not only that, many countries, we have lots of challenges. Some of the challenges are coming from the, state, federal governments, but many countries have relaxed or eliminated regulations. They have implemented deregulations regarding telemedicine to minimize the gap. Historically, if you see in the US, telemedicine services have been in the practice since 1990s. Earlier days, before the pandemic, about 11% of the population probably used telemedicine services. But with the COVID pandemic and with restrictions and regulations having relaxed, like doctors are able to bill the same way they would during a regular face-to-face visit. And also the rate of telehealth services rose up to about 46% during this pandemic period. And doctors and physicians their services, the use of telemedicine has expanded by about 175 times. I can give a few more examples, like countries like France. They introduced a reservation platform called Dr.KalaiChellam for French hospitals in 2013 itself. But now it has risen to a healthcare service platform company that provides telemedicine services. It has about 75,000 healthcare personnel. And in the beginning, before the COVID pandemic period, about 1,000 people were probably using the telemedicine services. By mid-2020, about 800,000 people started using their services. In Japan, telemedicine services started in 2008. A program called M3, Medicine, Media, Metamorphosis. That's a telemedicine information company. It has about 700,000 doctors working through the platform. Its market capitalization with the pandemic, it grew from $1.2 billion US to $32.9 billion US. in China. That was where the COVID initially started. They had telemedicine services started sometime in 2014 because of the COVID pandemic and the growing number of telemedicine service users in China. It is projected to grow to a $28 billion industry, US dollar industry by 2026. I can keep on going, but I'm going to stop here. So what I'm trying to say is telemedicine market will continue to grow if public and healthcare policies are put in place. At this juncture, I'm reminded of something. I would like to recall the support given by our chair, Dr. Kalanidhi Veeraswamy's father, Honorable Dr. Arkad Veeraswamy, the then Health Minister of Tamil Nadu, Dr. MGR University. So there was a unique concept of telemedicine center to be set up at Tamil Nadu, Dr. MGR University. And I was part of the team in collaboration with Harvard University Medical Center of Boston International, MCBI. It's a US-based company, medical company. And MCBI was responsible in donating some infrastructure and equipments worth $150,000 US dollars. We donated to Kilpauk Medical College and the university. The then Chief Minister, Honorable Dr. KalaiChellam, inaugurated the event. And I just remembered that when we were talking about this telemedicine, how it's been in practice for a very long time. Bottom line, digitalization has opened up the economic opportunities in healthcare industries. It's not only for telemedicine, not just for physicians, but also opportunities for new small businesses involving healthcare, like medical supply companies, labs for COVID testing, research, technology, talent scouting companies, all those have sprung. Some of the other opportunity drivers in this COVID pandemic situations are big data and analytics. This the big data revolution had taken the business and financial world by storm. The advance of data and analytics technologies, it flattened the entire industries, and they will do so in healthcare related industries as well. It's difficult it's too tasking for physicians to kind of forecast and predict patient needs and problems. But with the use of this sophisticated big data tools, doctors are able to identify at-risk patients and recommend preventive measures by using this huge database. For example, I could say Optum, that's a major healthcare research group. They collect patient data. Number two would be drug development, another one opportunity. Companies that democratize access to data can help speed up the development of drugs, decrease cost of research. That means small players, small companies, startups can now gain access to this critical information, opening up opportunities for more companies to tackle development of new treatments, drugs, vaccines, therapies, so on and so forth. Well, let's not forget AI, artificial intelligence. This has dominated the healthcare system. It has removed manual health system into automatic. People have been skeptical. A lot of entrepreneurs have been skeptical that we experienced a hype cycle. But however, with the new and improved AI and machine learning technologies, being rolled out in the real world applications day by day, we are at a good stage. There are countless applications of AI in healthcare, and some are yet to be realized, but companies that deliver these new solutions are bound to gain traction. So that is an excellent opportunity. And I should also mention about blockchain. Blockchain is decentralized, distributed, oftentimes it's like a public ledger. See, like for example, like medical history. That's a very important aspect of personalized care for patients and medical professionals. We need safe and secure way to transmit patient information, and blockchain is one such. Companies that develop these private blockchains for healthcare industry, they have a potential to do very good while growing rapidly in this ever expanding market. These technologies will democratize access to information, treatment, and innovations. So I touched briefly on in general about technology and stuff. Of course, medical tourism, like for example, during the COVID pandemic, although there were restrictions for travel, when young students, residents, they were scheduled to come into the US to work as residents and fellows. The government limited took away the restrictions, and they were giving opportunity to come in even if they were visa holders. To conclude, ஒளிமயமான எதிர்காலம் என் உள்ளத்தில் தெரிகிறது. I see light at the end of the tunnel. So let's see, in 2014, the Killedy excavation, it brought to light, and not only that there was a riverside civilization in Tamil Nadu, but it also gave evidence to prove the global impact of economy by Tamils as early as the 6th century BC. The Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, announced that Tamil Nadu government has decided to strengthen its demand that Tamil history, Indian history, should be rewritten by tracing the rich trade culture. So, economic impact has been done by Tamils long time ago. It has had with other states and other countries. Even yesterday, Mr. Kannappan IAS, during his speech, he informed that Tamil Nadu government has formed an advisory council for non-resident Tamils. Those are positive things, and these are excellent opportunities in healthcare during this pandemic season. It's our responsibility as Tamils to lobby to state and federal government of the country of residence and partner with Tamil Nadu government for global economic growth of Tamil diaspora. Let's pledge to do this during this 8th World Tamil Economic Conference. I just want to mention this. If one single person can single-handedly bring together, yes, you guessed it right, it's our Dr. V.R.S. Sampath, globally acclaimed government leaders and community leaders for dialogue and discussion to create an economic empowerment of Tamils, we as a group, I think we should be doing more. Once again, I like to thank Dr. V.R.S. Sampath for this wonderful opportunity. Nandri, vanakkam.